Constitutional Court justices continue putting their heads together on Wednesday to make their final call on reinstating or removing President Yoon Suk Yeol over his martial law order. If a ruling date isn't out today, the decision could be pushed into April. Let's turn to legal expert An Junseong. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we are now looking at April for the ruling to happen. Now, if that is the case, when in April do you think? Which day is highly likely?
Well, it's very difficult to make any predictions at this moment. I think there are two main facts, and two justices will retire on April 18th, Friday, and the KCC usually give at least 2-day advance notice. So put them together, any day between this Friday and April 17th, Thursday is possible. But nowadays, the Friday rule kicks in, means that in previous cases, the court ruling came out on Friday. So there are only 3 Fridays, but this Friday is unlikely since they have a monthly regular session with 40 cases. Therefore, my educated guess is either April 4th or April 11th Friday.
Sir, but still, we shouldn't rule out the possibility that a ruling date may be announced today on Wednesday, right?
That's correct. As I mentioned, right, this Friday is still on the table if announced within 2 days, right? Thus, we need to wait and see. Just keep in mind that 2 facts, right? The retirement day on April 18th and then the 2-day advance notice. So any day between this Friday and April 17th is still possible.
Well, we have to talk about the court's dismissal of Prime Minister Han Duck-soo on Monday with you. Now, that's made it, some people say, that's made it even more difficult or harder to tell how the ruling for President Yoon Suk Yeol will turn out. What do you think? Do you think the dismissal has given out any clue or hint for the upcoming ruling for President Yoon?
It's a very interesting question because I actually spent some time to think about it. But I have 2 observations. First, the 8 justices managed to reach a consensus at least one issue. For example, the Prime Minister violated the Korean constitutional law and other law by failing to appoint 3 justices to KCC in a timely manner. More importantly, the KCC decided not to remove him from his post in spite of his unconstitutional acts. I think this is a big hint that we can get from the case. So it depends on your side. Maybe different interpretation might differ, but there's, I think, big hint to consider.
One of the things I'd like to point out about the court's dismissal of Han's impeachment back on Monday is that the justices were unable to draw unilateral votes on the ruling. Do you think that will be the case for Yoon's ruling as well?
Well, possible, but once again, the KCC do not need consensus on all legal issues at question. Right? So HSC need only one consensus to remove, legally President Yoon from his post. So as they showed in the Prime Minister Han Duck-soo impeachment case, I think they can reach a consensus at least one issue to remove him from the office.
Is that why the justices are yet to give a ruling date? Because they are maybe having a hard time narrowing their opinions or disagreements. Why are they taking this long?
Well, I think that cases have been spent some time to build consensus among 8 justices. But technically, I think it might be easier to do so on a procedural matter. So, for example, if 8 justices can reach an agreement that there was any procedural violation, such as the illegality of the cabinet meeting on December 3rd, it might be much easier for them to make any consensus. But compared to considering so many issues on the substantive issues.
Indeed. Professor, sir, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you.